Anyway, it's great to gather every Sunday and see each other live after a couple of years. So now that we're starting doing it every week, it's great. So let's begin. We'll start with inviting our pastor up for announcements.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it is always good to see these wonderful brothers and sisters, your faces. And we're going to start off actually with a video announcement. We showed this last time, but just a reminder for the Parents Mashing Convocation. So let's start with that one.
Are you a parent dedicated to support your child's matching process? Of course you are. So join us for the Parents Matching Convocation in person at UTS from August 6th to the 7th. This truly is the time and moment to network with other parents. And like True Parents said, the family matching process is here. Now, at the Parents Matching Convocation, we will utilize this time to connect with other parents, and you can even take that moment to create trinities, dedicate this time to converse with others about profiles, possible candidates for your child, and all with the supportive matching supporters. Now, the registration fee has come to you at the low price of $150. All right, I know, it's steep, but we truly made the prices as minimal as we can, and even have 2 more discounts for you. First, if you decide to room elsewhere with the family, that can knock off up to $25 to $50 off the charge. And if you join us on the matching supporter training on the 5th, there will be another $20 knocked off of that. Really, truly making it minimal as we can. So what are you waiting for? Sign up right now.
All right, so that was the Parents Matching Convocation coming up August 6th to 7th. So if you have kids in that age range, or even if they're a little bit younger, but you want to get that kind of education, this will be a great opportunity to network, to receive education on how the matching process works. I think there's also a matching supporters training as well during that time. So if you're interested in becoming a matching supporter, then that's a great opportunity as well. So another announcement, as a reminder to, if you're a young adult within the ages of, I think, 18 to 40, that there is a young adult survey that we're doing. We have a team of young adults who came up with this idea to do a survey to really understand what our young adults are looking for in terms of ministry, in terms of whether that be like social gatherings or outings, or try to find something that we can really all come together in and spend some quality time together, experience God together as young adults. So if you haven't filled out that survey, please do. I believe there's a QR code in the hallway. Also, it should have come into your emails at some point as well. So another email that was sent out this past week was the property survey. So National Headquarters, Family Federation, they are asking all of our communities to do a property survey. So they want to know kind of how well we're using the properties, if the congregations are happy and satisfied with the current locations, whether that. So for our community, there's 2 properties that we need to fill out that survey for. One is right here, Belvedere. The other one is the White House, which is the parsonage, but also we use that for gatherings, meetings as well. So some of the questions won't quite relate to the White House so much or Belvedere so much, because it's not used for that kind of thing. But it's just a standardized survey, so just answer it to the best of your ability, and that'll give us a good sense of just how people feel about the properties. And then from there, we can make more kind of sound decisions around making improvements and things like that. So please check your emails for the property survey. I'll send it out again this week if you missed it. Another one is the Hyojang Chumbo special event is coming up actually next weekend. So the 23rd to the 24th. And it's going to be right here at Belvedere. They're actually doing one in Las Vegas right now. So a couple of points about this. If you haven't registered already, please register. Of course, you will be able to register when you get there, but it's always better to register beforehand so that the staff know how much food to prepare, and this kind of thing. It really helps a lot if you register beforehand. And also another point is if you want to give a donation for the ancestor liberation or blessing, please see Mike Chapman right over there. So you can give him the donations, or you can just send them to Belvedere. But yeah, that's the person you want to see. And yeah, I think that's it for this one. Also, we have the Belvedere Family Community Witnessing Workshop that's going to be coming up, not this next Sunday, but the Sunday after that, on the 31st. It's going to be after service from 12:30 to 5. And yeah, it'll include an in-depth look at our growth strategy, one-on-one witnessing training, and goal setting and team building. And yeah, it's going to be a really wonderful experience. So anybody who's just interested in seeing the church, seeing our community grow, and being a part of that effort, then I want to encourage you to attend this. And then also, we have this pastoral care training that's going on. We had our first session this past Monday, where we had a listening training, and we had about 12 people come. Can I see a show of hands who was able to make it there? And I think we had a pretty good time, right? It was pretty deep, pretty meaningful. We had some time to actually, most of it was just practicing with each other, practicing listening to one another, understanding one another's hearts. So these are very hands-on, practical training. It's not like you're going to sit there for an hour and listen to a lecture on Zoom, but you're going to be right there and practicing caring for one another so that we can better do that outside as well. So I just wanted to make a note of this because this is something that's been out there, and also close to a lot of our hearts is the assassination of the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was a great man who really supported our movement in the UPF realm in a way that never really happened before in the Japanese political sphere. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this up because I know a lot of people are talking about it, and it's on a lot of people's minds and hearts. And it's also, it will probably for a while, show up in the news cycle or on YouTube and social media. And I know that people are, it can be very overwhelming to listen to all of the news that's coming out. But I'm going to address this a little bit more in my sermon, but I did want to just encourage everyone to try to be proactive about what you're hearing, because it's kind of bringing out a lot of things in the news, especially on YouTube and smaller news outlets. So I wanted to just show something that I felt really proud of when I saw it, and I wanted to kind of show it to all of you. So one of our members actually heard something in from someone who's kind of like a YouTube personality, like a news personality, who said something about our church, our community, and instead of just being depressed about it, she actually took some action, and she sent a letter, and that person, the newscaster, actually read that letter on his show, kind of clearing up a lot of misconceptions about our movement. So I just wanted to show a short clip of that. It's just like 2 minutes long.
Hey, Gav. Kevin Mooney here.
What?
I've been listening to you since TJMS days. I heard you bring up the Moonies. Just want to say whatever you think you know is fake news. I grew up in the church. We are used to misconceptions. My parents were matched by Reverend Moon, and they had 5 half-Jap white children. You said we don't believe in love, and that's not true. My parents didn't know each other, but they learned to love each other because they both had their love for God. Reverend Moon believed that matching and marrying different cultures and races would help unite the world and create peace, and that you can learn to love anyone. My parents, well, you can learn to love a hot Japanese chick. What if you get paired up with a dog? My parents and all the first generation basically took one for the team, going through all they did, as things are very different now. I did not have to marry a complete stranger. I was introduced to my now husband at 21. He was a Moonie from Montreal, and we went through 6 months courting before we decided to get married. We did attend a mass wedding in Korea. We call the mass wedding the blessing, which is a commitment ceremony meant to invite God into our marriage. Say a few vows, watch some performances, and that's it. My husband and I have been married 6 years now with a 2-year-old and planning for more soon. The allegation that Reverend Moon gets to sleep with all the members and there's a lot of weird sex going on is hugely false, and I'm not sure where it came from. Maybe you're going to think I'm just a brainwashed cult member, but I'm not even the most perfect Moonie. I had my rebellious teenager days, my party days, and to be honest, I'm not that involved aside going from church once in a while. But I still believe and appreciate the values it instilled in me to get married and create a family. Of course, we have disgruntled members, good people, bad people, plenty of other things to criticize. All this to say, we're not the scary cult. Honestly, we're pretty boring, and we lost a lot of the second generation to the left anyways. So, if anything, I feel like we're on the same side, meaning us and her. That's all I'm going to say. I like you more than a friend. P.S. I know my grandma's terrible. Don't kill me. I'm just a stupid housewife. I added stupid. She sent a picture of herself. Very attractive.
Okay. So actually, that was my sister, actually. She sent in that letter. So, I mean, you can say, whatever you want to say about, opinions about, the content, but, the fact is she heard something that she didn't agree with, and she didn't just stay there. She took action and she did something. And, anyone who heard whatever he said before now also heard this and got it cleared up. Later on in the clip, he actually says like some pretty good things about our movement. So actually I felt what she wrote was actually pretty convincing and very true to her heart. So let's just give it up for my sister. I'm very proud. I'm very proud. Okay, so that's going to be it for our announcements. So you can find out more, all of this and more at belvederefamily.com. And I will invite back up Steve Honey and also the rest of the song team to lead us in some songs.
Okay, recent weeks I've been sitting in the congregation, and I just have to say, you're all much more attractive from the front. See the backs of heads. There's a point I've been thinking about lately, an internal point, and the songs that were chosen, I didn't choose them, really shine a light on the point of inspiration. How many people attend morning devotion with Dr. Young? Most of you? Yeah, really wonderful, right? And those who don't, try it. But one brother during the breakout said something that really struck me. He said, God has an uncontrollable impulse to love. An uncontrollable impulse to love. What a wonderful statement. And then take it further. If we're trying to resemble God, we should be doing the same. We should find that uncontrollable impulse to love. So we're singing This Little Light of Mine, and it's about shining our light. And that means shining our love on people. So please everybody rise. Let's sing it together, okay? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Don't let Satan blow it out. Don't let Satan blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let Satan blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let Satan blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Let let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. In my heart and in my soul, I'm gonna let it shine. In my heart and in my soul, I'm gonna let it shine. In my heart and in my soul, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. For our true parents, I'm gonna let it shine. For our true parents, I'm gonna let it shine. For our true parents, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. God's ideal. God's ideal is heaven on earth. I'm gonna let it shine. God's ideal is heaven on earth. I'm gonna let it shine. God's ideal is heaven on earth. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Thank you. You guys are shining. Thank you for letting it shine. Does it look brighter up here because all the love coming this way? It's good. Looks nice, right? There's another song about light, light of grace. Oh, light of grace, shining above, lighting my clear pathway. Oh, light of grace, easing my pain. You have shown that God is God. I'll give my life and my love unto the one God of love. Oh, clouds may come, hiding his face, hiding the smile. Oh, clouds may come, still he is there, shining brightly. God is God. I'll give my life and my love unto the one God of love. Amid the storm, tossed on the sea, beacon of hope, guiding me. Amid the storm, shelter is near, trust in him, for God is God. I'll give my life and my love unto the one God of love. All things decay, passing away, only the light shall remain. All things decay, still there faithful. God is love. I'll give my life and my love unto the one. I'll give my life. I'll give my life and my love unto the one. God. One more time. I'll give my life. I'll give my life and my love unto the one. God of love. Thank you. All things decay, still there is one, and the light keeps shining. So thank you. Please be seated. Oh, so one more? Oh, a little? Oh, sorry, I missed it. All right, please stand up again. We are one in the Spirit. It was stuck to the other page. Here we go. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. And we pray that our unity will this day be restored. And they'll know we're God's children by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we're God's children by our love. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. We will walk with each other. We will walk hand in hand. We will walk with each other. We will walk hand in hand. And together we'll spread the news that God is in our land. And they'll know we're God's children by our love. By our love, yes, they'll know we're God's children by our love. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. We will work with each other. We will work side by side. We will work with each other. We will work side by side. And we'll guard each one's dignity and save each other's pride. And they'll know we're God's children by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we're God's children by our love. God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. One more time. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Awesome. Thank you. Can we do one more? All right, thank you, everyone. Just a reminder for those who have small children for Sunday school, this would be the time to send them up to their Sunday school classes. Some of them are running away. Some of them are, I don't want to go. So there we go. Kiss mama before she goes up. Very nice. A couple babies would be nice to send up, but not yet, right? All right, thank you. That was some really beautiful songs, some beautiful singing from the congregation. And now let's join me in prayer to welcome our message. Good morning, Heavenly Parents. Thank you for being here with us. We know you're with us every day in every part of our lives, but today in particular on this Sunday, we join together as one family, and we hope that brings you joy and brings you hope in seeing all your children in unity together and loving relationships together. And as people all over the country, all over the world are also joining on Sunday mornings to worship you in their different faiths. Please inspire us today. Please open our hearts and minds to hear a message. And please speak to you through us, as you always do through our pastor, Justin Okamoto. We hope you can inspire him as you inspire us. Thank you for the opportunity to share with brothers and sisters. Thank you for our families. Thank you for a beautiful environment here at Belvedere. We offer our prayer and offer this morning devotion to you. I pray in the name of Stephen Louise Honey and in the name of all the Blessed Central families here. Aju. Let's welcome Pastor Okamoto.
Okay, there we go. Oh. Wait. Okay. Wait. Okay, it's still. This is the time to start praying, right? Okay, let me try. Yeah. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry. Let me try to figure this out. Okay. It's not working. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Wait, it's here. Okay, I'm not going to touch the podium, and hopefully that'll work. All right. Good morning, brothers and sisters. How are you doing? All right. Someone's doing good over there. All right. Yeah, it's so good to be here together with all of you. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here on Sunday. And I don't know about you, but I really feel like each Sunday, especially since we come back from COVID and everything and meeting every week, I feel like I'm really getting closer to all of you, and I can see you guys getting closer to each other and really experiencing that sense of family together. Are you guys experiencing that little by little? I hope that's getting closer to your experience of this community. So I'm going to be kind of continuing on to this whole theme of community. But today I want to specifically talk about this topic of holding on to what's possible. And I'm going to read, actually for the third time, I'm going to be reading this passage. They say that repetition is the mother of learning. So let's see what we can get a third time. So it says, if you have another female member above your age, you must think she is in the position of your elder sister. Okay. For the ones younger than you, you must feel the sensation of love you would have towards your younger sister, and you would feel towards still smaller ones as though they were your own children. Some you will love as though they were your own aunts, your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother. Toward the male folks, you must feel like they are your sons, your younger brothers, elder brothers, your uncles, your father, or you feel as you would towards your great-grandfather or great-grandson. You must feel the love in your family according to their ages. You must have that kind of experience in divine love. Unless you do that, you're not qualified to be real members of the unified family. I want you to know that and to realize that in your daily life. That is the realization of the restored heart of love. Only by putting that into practice can you enter the kingdom of God. Okay, so I know that's not showing so well. Okay, we're just gonna have to make do. But yeah, in the past few weeks, I've shared this quote, and I've my sermons have basically been about the vision for the community, the experience of the community, the experience of family within the community, and basically what I really wanted to do with my past sermons and also with this reading is to really paint a picture of what is possible, what could be possible inside of this community, about our experience of life. Like it could be possible to actually experience one another as family, not just as a concept, but as a real lived daily life experience. And so I want to talk about this idea of holding on to this possibility, because the reality is this idea of experiencing family together is what it is a possibility, right? It is not a certainty. It's not even a probability, right? Because probability is basically based off of what happened in the past, right? Like, oh yeah, it's probably going to happen because it happened yesterday, it happened a month before, it happened a year ago. It's always happened since then, so it's probably going to happen in the future. That's a probability, right? But this is not a probability, actually. This is a possibility. This is something that has actually never happened before in history, that all humankind can experience a sense of family together, right? So when we talk about a possibility, it's the dictionary definition is a thing that may happen or be the case, right? But sometimes when we talk about possibilities, we might think like, oh yeah, like anything, yeah, anything's possible. Yeah, that could happen, someday. I'm not going to say it's impossible. But a lot of times we say something's possible, but not really feel it inside of our heart. Like it doesn't really hit us like, wow, that is really possible for my life. That is really possible for the world. Like we might say, oh, world peace. We all want world peace. But does that really hit you in your heart? Like, oh my God, I can't, like, that is actually possible for the world. I think a lot of times in life, we can either choose to live, based on the past, based on what's already happened, what's probable, or we can live a life about what's possible in the future, what could be possible. In this world that we live in, the reality is most people live by, what's happened before, what's probable, what's been done. We live a past-based life that's filled of resentment, blame, justification. It's like something happened in the past and that was the cause, and what's happening now is the effect of that, right? And we're just kind of in this long stream of cause and effect. I don't know if you ever had an experience where maybe you had a rough morning and you didn't wake up quite the way that you wanted to. And then like, you just decided, you know what, this whole day is ruined, right? And like the whole day, it was based on what happened that morning. And you just kind of you left it at that, right? It's like, oh, I already know this day is going to be a bad day because it started bad. And so that's it, it's very probable, it's very predictable. That's the way it's been in the past, is when I have a bad morning, I have a bad day, and there's not much I can do about it, right? And that's just the reality, is a lot of times we live life as if we're kind of drifting. Have you ever been tubing? Anyone ever went tubing in the river? Yeah, I went tubing one time, and when I went tubing, actually, it was one of the worst experiences of my life. And let me tell you why. Because I had on my favorite sunglasses, and I had my car keys in my pocket. And so at some point during the tubing, my glasses fell off into the river, and I couldn't go back. I couldn't move because you don't have an oar. You can't control yourself when you're tubing. And to make it worse, my keys also fell out of my pocket. And so like, I'm like just drifting down the river for like 30 minutes feeling, oh, this is the worst. My favorite glasses, my keys, when I get to the end, my whole family is gonna, be embarrassed about me. Why'd you leave your keys in your pocket? And oh my God. But that's kind of a lot of times our experience of life, right? Is we just kind of drift through, and this river, the stream, is taking us a certain direction. That's kind of like the past pushing us into a certain direction. And a lot of times we feel like there's not a lot we can do. We're just kind of sitting there. One example of that is like our own living standards, right? Why is it that a lot of people's living standards don't change very often, right? Like we know of families, generations of poor people who live in poverty. Next generation lives in poverty, and you can say, oh, it was bad luck, or bad timing, or blame it on the man in charge. But the reality is, I think the reason why we often are stuck in the place we are is because we don't see a new possible future that can actually shift that trajectory of where we are. I'll just give a personal example in my life. When I before I became a pastor, I was doing life coaching for a while, and I had a business, right? And when I first started life coaching, I was just trying to find clients, and I charged $20 an hour. And eventually, charging $20 an hour plus spending hours of marketing and finding people, I was just getting so exhausted, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just impacting my health, my relationships. So I realized, I needed to figure this out. I needed some coaching myself. And so that's what I did. I talked to somebody, I got some coaching, and what I realized was that, the reason why I was in this predicament of making this much money was because, I couldn't see a bigger possibility of what my services could be worth. I couldn't see a bigger possibility of what I could be worth. Like my time could be worth more than this. And what I got out of that conversation was really seeing like the possibility that I could charge more and I can make a bigger difference by doing so. Like if I really stood up for my own value in my life, then I could lead others to do the same. And until I did that, I wouldn't be able to make that difference for others. And so, it was seeing that new idea, this new possibility of making more money while also making a bigger difference that really inspired me to actually change. And I remember the first time I had this new, person I was talking to. They really liked, the free trial, and they said, okay, how much do you charge? And I was like, here it is, here it goes. And I said, $50 an hour. And like my heart, skipped a beat. I was so scared. What are they going to say? They're going to reject me. My whole business is going to be over. My life is going to finish. That's like the feeling I got, But they were just like, oh, $50 an hour? Okay, that's good. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, this is amazing. And from there, it was like, I reached a new level of what was possible. I was like, oh, actually 50 an hour is possible. And from there, it was like, maybe something else could be possible. Maybe more could be possible. And it went from there and there, it went further. But the point is, it wasn't about, it wasn't even about like my skills or, whether people are having a good time or not through the coaching. It was just about me and whether or not I was able to see a bigger possibility for my life. All right. So, possibility is like, we're still on this river of life, right? We're still impacted. Yeah, the past is pushing us in a certain direction. But when we see a possibility, it's like all of a sudden we're equipped with a kayak, right? And we're able to paddle in that river. We're able to move in that river to direction and even go against the current if we really want to. So I want to connect that to, why are we here? Why is all of us here in this community, in the seats that you're in right now? Why are we members of what we call, Family Federation or Heavenly Parents Holy Community? I think most of us, if not all of us, were at some point in our life in a certain direction, kind of drifting in the river of life, kind of pulled by, pushed by the past that where we came from. Maybe you were, just a young person searching for love, searching for a place to fit in. You had a certain view of the world and the way the world worked. And it was like life was taking you in a certain direction. And then what happens? You joined. You joined this community, right? Maybe it was called the, Creative Community Project, or, whatever it was called in your time. Maybe it was called CARP. But, how many times have you heard a story of someone that said, oh yeah, I was studying to be an architect, or oh yeah, I was going to go into music, and then I joined the church. And my whole life turned around, you know? How many times have we heard that? How many times, you know, for our younger people, we know, like, almost all of our parents have a story like that. So, you know, what is it that drives somebody to have a predictable, comfortable future ahead of them, and then to suddenly decide to throw it all away and join a movement? You know, what drove these young people here? I think one of those people looks kind of familiar to me. You know, what are they looking at? What possibility did they see in their life for the world that inspired them to their core, that they simply could not go back to the way that their life was in their old ways, their old way of viewing the world, their old way of living their life? You know, that possibility that pushed them to go out and go sell flowers on the street for 8 hours, 10 hours a day. It was that possibility that led people to, you know, join some big choir and travel the world and do crazy things like that, and becoming a lecturer of the divine principle. You know, it was possibility that led these people to marry a complete stranger. Right? Most people in the world, they marry because of circumstance. They marry because of something that happened in the past. You know, oh, because I went to this school, I met this person, I fell in love, and then I got married. Right? It's kind of like something happened in the past, and that led me to getting married. But these precious brothers and sisters, all of us here, they married because of something that they believed was possible. They saw something that was possible for the world. They saw something that was possible for their life. And because of that, they decided to receive the marriage blessing. To me, that is incredible. That is something that 99% of the world's people would never do. So I wanna actually take some time to share with one another. I want to ask you, you know, what did you see was possible when you committed to be a member of this community, of this movement? You know, was it the possibility of, you know, world peace? Was it a possibility of happiness, freedom, knowing God, knowing yourself? You know, maybe it's a possibility of, like, I could have this kind of family. I never saw that before in my life, but all of a sudden it really seems possible. Like, I could have a good family, or maybe belonging to a community. You know, and this is not just for people who joined the church, you know, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, but even if you were born into the church like me, all right, there must have been some point in time when you saw something for yourself, for your life. You said, oh, wow, that's possible. And that really moved you. You know, for me, it was, you know, going through that rough time in my life and then experiencing unconditional love and acceptance. And it hit me so hard, like, wow, unconditional love and acceptance is actually a real possibility for me in my life. I could actually live with this, and I can actually provide this to others. Like, that was so moving to me that it completely changed the trajectory of my life. So I actually want to just take, you know, a couple minutes to share with somebody close. If it's, you know, a group of 2, a group of 3, that's okay. And I want you to share, what did you see was possible when you committed to be a member of this community? Okay? So take 3 minutes, find 2 or 3 people, and I want you to just share. Just make sure you're sharing kind of concisely so that everyone can share. Okay, one more minute. One more minute. Okay, 15 seconds. 15 seconds, and we're gonna move on. Okay, please start to wrap up your discussions. Please start to wrap up. Okay, give your partners a round of applause and thank them for their sharing. And yeah, I hope you got some inspiration. So I actually want to give a few people a chance to come up and share what you saw was possible in just like a minute or less. So very concise, but yeah, I'd like to ask, let's have a chance to get to know our community a little bit more and share with each other. So maybe who would like to share, come up and share. Let's see, don't all rush up at once. Me? Okay, I picked Bill Lay, Uncle Bill. All right, why don't you come up and let's welcome out Uncle Bill. He's gonna share.
I'm going to be super concise, okay? I remember I was in California at the time of Yankee Stadium. I was a new member, and I wasn't like reliable enough to send out east. So I thought that there was this tremendous Pentecost going on out here, and the tongues of fire were descending, and that everyone was recognizing the return of Christ. Okay, so I thought that it was possible that there could be a worldwide Pentecost to recognize true parents as the returning Christ.
Wow, awesome. That's really cool. That's really inspiring. Wow. All right. I'll ask for some more people, or I'll just choose. If you don't volunteer, I might just choose you. Okay, Justin. I was going to choose you if you didn't anyway. So let's welcome up Justin.
It's better to volunteer as tribute than to be, voluntold, right? One's heroic, one's not. What kept me and so I'm second generation. And what has inspired me and kept me in the church really was the possibility of the kingdom of heaven, the actual kingdom of heaven on earth. And then, of course, the real, not possible, but actual love that I see within the church. We are the promise that God made, right? We are one family. There's, whether all the interracial marriages or people from different cultures and backgrounds that can find a way to love one another. And as a person growing up in a time where, especially now, where people are really confused, it has been an absolute inspiration. And my hat goes off to all of those first generation members who have laid the foundation for where we are. So thank you, and God bless you. And thank you, Justin, for all this.
That's awesome. Wow, that was beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we had two brothers. I'd like to see if there's one sister who'd like to also share. What did you see was possible? How about Mrs. Mizuguchi? No, your English is great. Okay. How about Asami? Your English is amazing. You can do it. Let's welcome her up. Woo! Yeah, don't hate me for this. It's coming from love.
Good morning, everyone. Actually, yes, when I was 12 years old, I went to the church because my mom was a member at the time. So, and then in the beginning, I just, it was fun because of the, good friends there. But then later, yeah, I really impressed by true parents' work, and then I just still really believe in my mom. So what my mom said is kind of true. But then I really felt that true parents as a Messiah. So yeah, so I really have to keep. I mean, restart our lineage, and then God's lineage. And then true family. I have to make. So that's about the family value, and that's I think my strong motivation. Yeah, so yeah, that's why I'm here. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That was very well said. Well done. Yeah. So awesome. Okay, so yeah, I hope you were inspired. You guys were inspired by hearing your brothers and sisters. Their possibilities are awesome. Okay, so we all had something as we all kind of shared with one another, some possibility that we saw, whether that be possibility of God's lineage, a true family, experience of the kingdom of heaven being realized, right? Pentecost, right? Something that really inspired us. But that's not just an experience for us members, but I think that's the experience of true parents. True parents are the people who see nothing but possibility. In the midst of complete darkness and turmoil, they see possibility in ways that nobody else sees. So I wanted to just share a quick video of true father, true parents, and the possibilities that they see in their life.
Because he has sought to go beyond race, religion, ethnicity, gender, and culture He is perhaps the most misunderstood, misrepresented, maltreated, and maligned person on the face of the earth. But not only is the stuff that makes him love all the more, he loves his enemies. He lives for the sake of others, and no cost is too great in order to bring back the family of God. He has committed his life to restoring us to God's true love, God's true life, and true lineage, so that we look upon each other as brothers and sisters, one family under God. This man, along with his wife, are truly the true parents of all humanity.
It's beautiful. You know, your true parents are really the people who, no matter what the circumstances that they were living in, we all know the story of, the beginning of our church, right? Our church started in this little hut, made out of cardboard. But even, he had one disciple with him. But even whatever the circumstances were, he saw such a huge vision for the world, for the movement, for the community. He saw this one family under God that could be created in a moment when we started to believe it's possible. He was like, when people met him, many people thought he was living in a different world. Like, what are you seeing? He said things like, Korea is going to become this great nation that the whole world's going to, look at and be an example for the world. When Korea came out of this terrible war and was in shreds. We know the story of people saying, "What, Korea? Are you crazy?" He saw this vision for what Korea is right now, 80 years ago. He saw the vision for our marriages, for our children being born, and, it's not like, true parents never heard any bad news, right? Like, there's difficulties in life. It's not, they went through prison so many times, trouble with their own family and seeing blessed families struggle. But they never, ever gave up on holding on to what they saw was possible. And that's what we need to do. More than anything, we need to hold on to what's possible. And I know that's not an easy task at all. I showed this diagram before that, we are living in this midway position. We are constantly being influenced by God and Satan. But another way to look at that is that we are really like living in two worlds simultaneously. Based on our perspective, based on what we're seeing right now, you can see what Satan is seeing. You can see the world that Satan is seeing, or you can see the world that God is seeing. The only difference between the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of hell is it's a perspective. It's a perspective shift. And when you shift that, you shift the way you see the world, all of a sudden God's kingdom is revealed to you, like it's right there. In God's world of possibility, that's all there is. God created from nothing. nothing, and he created an entire universe. And Satan's world is completely governed by circumstances, by reasons, by cynicism. It's like certain things are possible, certain things are not. That'll happen someday, but probably not, because of this or that reason. God's world is all about creating the future from nothing, from that 0 point, and just creating something. While Satan's word is completely about the past. It's like, oh, because this person did that to me, because of my traumatic childhood, because God took away my position. I had to act like this. There was no choice. That's Satan's world. God's world is unlimited. We can create anything we want in this world, in our life. Whatever, they say whatever we can conceive and believe, we can achieve. And in Satan's world, it's just limited. It's like there's two distinct boxes. One is there are certain things that are possible that have been done before, and then there's everything else that's not possible. And the reality is we are pulled into one world and the other world, back and forth throughout our daily life. I give just an example. I shared in the announcements, we all know about this, tragedy of the assassination of Prime Minister Abe. And I think for many of us, this has been quite a disturbing incident. It's also disturbing, what we're hearing in the news. And, as you know, my wife is Japanese, and we spent 4 years in Japan. We have very strong connections to the Japanese community. So, when we heard about this, we were both so shocked. We were just like, it's just sad. Like, wow, why did this happen to this person who supported your mother? And the reality is, like, we kind of got into that whole world of negativity. Like, oh, why did we do this? Why is the church like that? Oh, maybe if we didn't do it this way, then this wouldn't have happened. And all of these circumstances and reasons, and trying to justify and figure it out. And I just started feeling so negative, actually. I don't know if you ever get that way, but I definitely do. Sometimes I just get so negative, and I started feeling like, why is the church doing it like this? Church needs to change. This is wrong, that's wrong, the world's wrong, and really getting sucked into that world of Satan. I felt that. But in that whole process, in that world, I was feeling upset, I was feeling stressed out, I was feeling distant from people, distant from my wife. Like, I didn't want to be around her. I didn't want to even be around my own son. I didn't want to talk to God. I was in Satan's world. And I had to go back inside myself and reconnect and go back to that possibility that I saw. That possibility of unconditional love, of family. The possibility that I see for my son, that he could grow up in a community that's filled with love. And be moved by that again and say, that possibility has nothing to do with these circumstances, has nothing to do with what's going on in the world. How does that impact what's possible? I had to go back inside and make that choice, because, make that choice to believe in family, believe in true love, and believe that world peace is possible despite what I see in this external circumstances. In the divine principle, it says, at Christ's second advent, because he will be born on the earth, the kingdom of heaven will be realized first in the hearts of those who believe in him and follow him. When these individuals increase in number to form societies and nations, the kingdom of heaven within will gradually be manifested in that world as an outward visible reality. So when I read this, what I really hear is that the kingdom of heaven starts as a possibility. It starts as an idea in our heart that something else is possible for the world, something else is possible for my life. And many times we do feel upset because we can't see the kingdom right in front of us, because it's not right here, right now. But we have to remember, Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. At least that's where it starts. And there's always going to be, bumps in the road. In fact, once you start thinking about possibility, immediately Satan's going to start attacking you and tell you all the reasons why that's not possible. And the reality is, we all know brothers and sisters who at some point in the road of their life, they let go of that possibility. They got resigned, they got cynical. They got caught up with all the reasons why it's not going to work. And we're not here to blame anybody who goes down that path, because it is hard, and we've all been through that. This is maybe the hardest thing to do in life, is to really have faith, is to really believe in something despite all the evidence that the world tells you is contrary. We're going to be called crazy. We're going to be told you're living in cuckoo land, in another world. And that's actually the reality. We are living in another world. We're choosing to live in God's world, to live in that world of possibility. And we can invite others into that world as well. So I just want to say, thank you to all of you for holding on more than anything, despite the challenges, despite the persecution, the rejection that we've all faced. Thank you for being a light in the darkness. And I believe that if we keep holding on, what is possible will someday become a reality. And we can fulfill that prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So let's give it up for all of you. Let's give it up for God. God bless you. Thank you so much. Please join me in prayer. Our most beloved Heavenly Parent and true parents, just want to thank you so much for this wonderful Sunday, this wonderful time to come together in this community, in this space of possibility, the possibility of your kingdom becoming realized, the possibility of your family being established, Heavenly Parents, the possibility of the end of your suffering and the suffering of the world, Heavenly Parents. It's very easy to just be so overwhelmed by that suffering, but we know that you, God, have been the one more than anybody. You have felt that suffering, the deepest part of your heart, but at the same time, you held on to what's possible. What you saw was possible from the very beginning of time, even before time was existing. You saw this family of God relating to each other, loving each other, being there for each other. And God, we just want to, more than anything, just thank you for never giving up on humanity, despite what you've seen, what you've experienced, what the past has shown you. You've always been right there, creating a new future, declaring a new future, finding the ones that could spread your truth, your word, your vision. And we just pray, Heavenly Parents, that we can become those people in our life, in our community, in our family, that can hold on to what's possible, hold on to your kingdom, and never, never, never let go, Father. We thank you so much for our true parents that have showed us this incredible example of how to live life. We thank you, we love you, and I pray and report this in my name, Justin Okamoto, Blessed Central Family. Adieu. Okay, let's welcome up the music team and our MC, Steve Honey.
And what's possible? Dr. Young says, is faith our reality or is reality our faith? Oh, faith needs to be our reality. Hey, let's give another warm thank you to Justin. Okay, let's close with a message of unity. Sing Tongyo.
통일 이 나라 찾는데 통일이 왔어 통일이 오라
Our cherished hopes.
Our cherished hopes are for unity. Even our dreams are for unity. We'll give our lives for unity. Among unity. Unity saving the people. Unity saving all nations. Come here quickly, unity. Among unity.
There you go, everyone. Brief announcement, there's food on sale to raise funds for Sunday school. So please enjoy and spend a lot of money. Okay? And thank you. Have a wonderful week. God bless you.
Thank you.
Especially with the-